Hey guys, Dave here from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hanging out with the full contingent today.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Ted. I'm Nate.
And today we're going to be reviewing the Witch Hunter, based off of the Witcher game and the last Witch Hunter movie.
Yes.
With Vin Diesel.
/ video games and such and such, yeah.
Yeah. Well, alright guys, before we get into the Witch Hunter and our review on this, I just want to remind you guys, down in the description below, you can check out Nerdarchy newsletter. And we're gonna give you all kinds of cool stuff in there, information how to game with Nerdarchy. Go down there, click it, put your information in, jump on the Nerdarchy, the newsletter bandwagon. Witcher game.
It's put out by Critical Role, as done on Geek and Sundry, and
written by
Matthew Mercer, who's also the GM on Critical Role.
And they actually had Vin Diesel in on a session to play as the last Witch Hunter,
and as the character that he played in the movie, so it's super meta.
Yeah,
right.
Well, maybe not. I don't think it's super meta. He's just really playing. He's just revising a role that he's already played.
Yeah.
In film,
he's doing epic level role playing. Because he's actually getting paid millions of dollars.
It's like they condensed down the session to edit it down to 30 minutes. It's good. It's entertaining. I'll put a link to it somewheres. But in the meantime, we're just going to review the Witch Hunter class on the merit of the class itself. I mean, I have not yet seen the movie. As of the point of us filming this, it has just dropped 2 days ago.
Right.
And
we were at a convention all day yesterday.
We were at a convention all day yesterday. I don't know if that's relevant, but we were. I also haven't played the video game, and I don't think any of you guys have either.
No.
So all we can do is review it on the basis of the class itself and its playability and its game balance and how we like it.
Right. So it is a free download, and it is something that is a full class. It's not an add-on or new archetype for another thing, and it's a good solid number of pages here. So it's definitely a worthwhile read, and for the most part, I think it really balances well with the other classes.
Full 20 levels.
Yeah, full 20 levels. None of this.
Actually, this download is actually
better than the Unearthed Arcanas.
Some of the Unearthed Arcanas we've gotten. It's more complete at any rate.
Yeah. It's fully playable 1 to 20. So
and as we kind of talked about with some of our off-camera discussion, it's backloaded. So the really good stuff is later on, so you don't have the people who are trying to nitpick it for a couple levels.
Yeah, you're not going to cherry pick this class to really get the benefits of it. You have to take minimum of 2 levels. It gets better from 3 to 7.
And really, the first 2 levels are pretty meh. You have to be invested in wanting to do this, because a lot of the abilities kind of stack on having more class levels in it. So it really encourages, probably a mono class thing happening. You're not going to just dip into this for 4 levels, because they're not going to be a great 4 levels for you.
So Matthew did a really excellent job in that regards. Way better than the Rager variant that Watts released, where you're like, oh look, take 1 level, you're awesome.
Yeah,
and it's all you need.
Best thing ever.
Yeah, but it's very thematic. They're based off of hunting fae, undead, and fiends.
Fiends, yep.
The first level, their first level ability is actually really weak. It gets better. It's definitely what Watts has termed a ribbon ability, where it gives you advantage to track and recall lore on again, fiends, undead, and fae, which is it's not useless, but it's definitely not very crunchy or combat oriented.
Yeah, most classes at first level have something that is combat related. Any of the martial classes typically get a fighting style. This literally, you get just this ribbon ability, and that's it.
The joke that Dave made earlier was off camera was the idea that at first level you're really good at finding these things, but you're so weak that you don't want to find it. Because all right, they get medium armor and martial weapons, but at first level that's all you get.
You're not even getting shields.
Yeah, and you have a die 8,
and you have a die 8. It encourages you to invest in Constitution because of some of the abilities.
Well, it encourages you to invest in mercenaries.
Let's start from the beginning, right? Let's give the
beginning
class features breakdown. So as we said, they have a die 8. They have proficiency in martial and simple weapons, light and medium armor, no shields.
And they get alchemist supply tools.
They do get alchemist supply tools, which is actually kind of cool. I like that part of it.
Yeah.
It's based around the fact that they have to poison themselves to become what they are, in essence.
You get strength and wisdom as your saves.
Right, which is it's a good combination. Does anybody else use that combination?
I don't believe so.
So it might be unique. Yeah. Well, Paladin for strength and charisma for Paladin, right?
No, I think it's wisdom.
Wisdom and charisma.
Okay.
Which I think is the same as clerics. You get two skills from athletics, acrobatics, arcana, history, insight, and perception. So you know that's a fairly unique mix. You rarely see
physical and
cerebral.
But yeah, and other than rogue, you typically don't get athletics and acrobatics together. It's usually one or the other.
Well, and it's great too that it's super hella thematic in that insight and perception. You're sniffing things out, finding stuff. You need to know the lore to be able to find this stuff as well. And then you are a physical build. It's almost like then it's maybe you want to be a half elf or human to just
well, that's
have
what I
more
was
skills.
thinking. Well, the other thing I was thinking too is half elf or human because they need wisdom and strength, and I don't think there's any races that give those stat bumps.
No.
So the next best thing you can actually do is be a half elf or human.
No, you're excluding one very important choice too. The mountain dwarf, because the mountain dwarf is
that's true.
A, the superior race, but B, they get heavy armor, right?
No, they don't get medium. It's the same.
But I mean,
strength and
con for this class is pretty key as well.
Well, yeah, that would help a lot because you could drop a high stat into your wisdom, and that would work. But then again, you could go hill dwarf. You got con and wisdom. So that would cover
both of them. The dwarves being the superior race.
Dwarves being the master race. So there is that. But and then so this class is one of those classes that requires 3 stats.
Yeah.
You need Dex or Strength.
Dex or Strength, Con and Wisdom.
Con and Wisdom, and honestly, if you go Strength, you still need Dex because you're only wearing medium armor.
Right.
Yeah, you could really eke out that +2.
Now you only need that 14 because your max is still going to cap out.
True.
You still want that 14.
Dump stat charisma.
And intelligence. With that advantage roll on the checks to make it, it's
besides, how smart can you be if you're looking for fiends and undead
this stuff
and you're willing to do all this crazy stuff to your body?
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to Bloodright and the utterly craziness ability that they do with this. It's kind of like, well, let me give you a sneak attack like thing, but you got to hurt yourself first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool. As an action, you basically
wound yourself.
You wound yourself and can attack. Is that a bonus? It's a bonus action, right? You can do that. You set your weapon up.
Yes.
It's either frozen over, on fire, electrified,
Or acidic.
Or dripping in acid. But the thing is, the ability lasts all day until you take a long rest. Eventually, you can switch it out and use different. You can have different flavors if you like, and then at higher levels, you get more potent or rarer
damage types.
Like force type.
Force,
thunder, or necrotic.
Or necrotic, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why you don't get that be radiant, but
Yeah, I mean, so that except for one build does get that build into it.
Okay.
Maybe that's why it's not step on their toes.
I know why they don't though.
What's that?
Because it's kind of a dark class. You're gonna use the weapons
Forbidden
of my
lore.
enemies against my enemies.
Yeah. So
that makes sense.
The funny thing about the blood rate damage is by 4th level, it does a D4, and you're dealing 4 points of damage. Yes, you're going to deal that more times over, but you do the damage die to yourself.
Yeah. At the top of each damage die is the tax goes up as you gain levels, and the benefits kind of mitigate it.
Because when you deal your damage to be able to employ this blood, right? You it's like taking necrotic damage. You deal this damage, your maximum hit points drop, so you're not going to get healing back.
Right.
Yeah. So when you're talking about a 10th level character doing this, they're down 10 hit points throughout the day if they're if they're using a single weapon, or 20 hit points for the entire day if they have dual wielding weapons.
So really, in essence, you're kind of discouraged from dual wielding, in my opinion.
Yeah, or seek out a 20 con.
There is one mitigation that I saw in here that helps with that. But you got to get to 7th level in order to help with that. So we'll get to that part later.
Okay.
So, once you get to 3rd level, though, you get to choose which of the 3 witch hunting orders you want to belong to. You got Ghost Slayer, Order of the Mutant, and what's the third
Profane
one?
Soul.
The Profane Soul.
Yeah.
So the Profane Soul links up in a little bit of accordance with Warlock. Ghost Slayer, as it sounds, you're looking to like focus on undead, and the Order of the Mutant, you're literally working with those alchemist supplies that you know how to use to make these odd concoctions that you get
Mutagens, basically.
Yeah, you're getting abilities with some kind of drawback.
Well, it's actually a specific type of undead, though. Your insubstantial undead
Right.
is essentially
for the Ghost Slayer.
is what you're going after. I mean, obviously they'll excel at the other ones because of their other abilities. Like that is the one that gets their wisdom modifier as a bonus of radiant damage whenever they use their blood right.
Right.
So, which is kind of cool. All 3 of them are very thematic and flavorful.
No, there's a lot of cool RP stuff here, just in each of the sections to read through. So I mean, even if it's not something that you want to allow as a player class, but you want to have your world built with these things, it's really cool to add in, and then maybe eventually after it's been teased enough and you figured out that you like them, allow your players to do it.
Of the 3 archetypes, I can go with Ghostwalker as a DM without even flinching.
Ghost Slayer, yeah.
Ghost Slayer.
Or Ghost Slayer. Ghostwalker is something completely different.
That was a campaign setting.
Yes.
Ghost Walk, yeah.
So, but the other 2, raises some questions from the DMing side for me. Profane Soul, I really need to do a side-by-side with Warlock on it. We've done a little bit of that, but they really do seem to step on the Warlock's toes a lot, especially Packblade.
Yeah, they are the better Pact Blade, is really what it comes down to. It's like, you may, if you have the Profane Soul in your game, you may as well just tear out the section with the Pact Blade.
I disagree in the sense that you're still going to get more powerful spells
And
as a
invocations.
Warlock and invocations
Yeah.
that let you do some pretty cool stuff as well. And your pack weapon is a magic weapon. Well, I guess that doesn't matter because all of them get magic weapons.
Yeah, your weapon already is magic. You get the extra damage.
You get extra attacks.
Yeah, you are already getting extra attacks as well. So I think there's a lot of. Again, it bears further investigation, but the baseline of the
is a really strong build for a Packblade.
Packblade-esque thing.
Well, because here's the thing that makes the Profane Soul really strong is at 10th level, they get Diabolic Channeling, which is basically the ability, their Wisdom modifier, per long rest, they can basically imbue their weapon with a spell that it targets one creature. If they hit with it, the spell goes off. They don't actually have to cast it. So whatever their Wisdom modifier is, that's basically that many extra castings a day.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going. I fully feel that.
Finger of Death.
They
They can't get that spell though.
I fully feel that this is a that's just a wording issue. I don't feel that they get the spell for free, because it says if you miss, you still expend the spell slot.
Nope.
No, feature.
No, you keep reading that incorrectly.
Yeah, you expend the spell feature. I mean,
You're
the
reading
class
what you
feature.
want it to read as.
Yeah. So you expend the features of the use to potentially do this thing. The argument that I think Ted and I actually were making more so is there's an interpretation by the way it's written that hitting with this you get a spell essentially for free, and I'm more of in favor of that's an expenditure of the spell that you would potentially cast. Like I think it is just an error. Like Spirit of the Rules, probably just an error. But
you could just make it a cantrip, right?
You
It doesn't
could,
say first level
but you're
spell,
not
right?
limited on cantrips. Like you can cast any level spell on it, but I mean cantrips you're unlimited on anyway. Yeah, like you could Eldritch Blast all
It
day.
says any spell you can cast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I mean, so what if it expended a spell slot? Is what I'm saying, because your cantrips are actually. Do they get cantrips?
They get
Yes.
cantrips, and cantrips aren't burning through your spell slots. Like your spells are the unique mechanic of the warlock is that whatever spell they're casting at that time, they're casting at the highest level they possibly can.
Yeah.
So let's what spell can we map on that targets a single individual?
Magic missile.
Okay. Well, yeah. Actually, yeah. I guess you could do that. So you say you hit them with
Witch bolt is actually a
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
a warlock spell. So
okay. Yeah. So you say you're witch bolting at the maximum, so dealing as many dice as you possibly can, like. Getting what, like 5? If you say you have a 20 stat in the thing, like, because you can, if this thing is so good, you're going to want to have to maximize the impact of that.
Well, you also have like 3 others.
Oh, you have other stats that are important, but if you were to make that your most important thing, because the Brain Soul is the most casty of them,
so you're gonna want wisdom.
You're going to want wisdom to be your thing. So yeah, say you have a 20 stat, and so. That's
I want to play one and witch bolt people with a great sword now.
Yeah, exactly. But so 5 free castings of 5th level witch bolts. That's pretty substantial.
Oh yeah.
That's problematically substantial, I think. So.
Well, you couldn't do 5th level. They only get up to 4th level.
Oh, 4th. Okay, 4th.
Yeah, and so, but again, that's your resource allocation. So, I mean, depending, again, you need to have that 20. That's going to require a lot of stat bumps, most likely. At least minimum of 2.
Yeah.
And if you were able to start with a 16. So you're going to eat it somewhere else.
Well, you don't get this ability till 10th level, so you could use your 4th and your 8th on wisdom if that's something that you were really trying to pump through.
And I'm not even saying that Witch Bolt would be the spell that you would do it with, because I'm sure if we look through the Warlock's the spell selection.
4d12 sounds pretty sweet. And
yeah.
then d12 for every round you concentrate.
But what if you have something that like incapacitates like a whole person or something like that?
That would be better.
Now, like, all right, I did a fair amount of damage, and then also everyone else gets like attacks with advantage against this thing.
My argument there would be the fact that you, as at 10th level, you're getting 2 attacks a round. And if you had bumped those points into strength or dexterity, every time you hit, you do additional damage.
Mm-hmm.
All day long.
No, because
every round.
Because this says like you're using this ability as an action. So you couldn't say, well, I'm going to make an attack action and get 2 attacks around and use this ability.
That's my point, yeah. It's one. Yeah, it's one.
It's one or the other.
No, he's talking about the trade-off of power. So strength or dex.
What do the other 2 get at 10th? Like what are their abilities at 10th?
Well, you'd have to. You also have to compare like to all classes at 10th level throughout. The PHB.
And more specifically, the casting of the warlock.
With Ghost Slayer, your rune binding ignores the immunity to the restrained condition.
Yeah. So the other 2 are kind of weak at 10th, but overall they've got other things going on. So it's not like...
And you get mutagens with...
Yeah, it's not as formulaic. The class isn't... Because it's so varied, it's not as formulaic as some of the other classes.
Well, 5th edition's not very formulaic in a lot of ways.
It's more art than science, oftentimes.
Yeah. Well, like, it doesn't deal in game balance the way...
Well, I mean, like, combat... like, that is a high combat ability.
It is.
Yeah.
While at 10th, this guy's getting immunity to poison.
Well, I mean, so the thing...
Kind of a combat. It's good if you're fighting things that poison you. But otherwise, it's completely useless.
The thing that I've observed about the sort of class-building logic, a lot of times what happens is sometimes you'll get an earlier, better ability, and then so this way, later on, say 6th level or whatever, your ability is significantly weaker because earlier on in the logic of building this class, say if you've given something really good at level 2 or 4, then the thing that you're going to get at 6 tends to be weaker. Or prior to what you've gotten was weaker, then that 6th level ability is substantial. Yeah. So there's like a checks and balance.
What I'm saying is this is I think this is one of their major power abilities.
Oh yeah.
Of this archetype for the class. So.
It absolutely is. Yeah. I mean that's what makes it so cool for one.
Well, you know what, Matthew Mercer, if you're out there and watching this, if you could please clarify that, that'd be great.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what? It's worth just sending an email. Hey, what was your intention?
Yeah, tweet at him or something.
Yeah.
Hey guys, tweet at him. What did he really mean? He'll get like 1,000 tweets.
We'll just tweet at him and see.
So the Order of the Mutant, which is the one that I would try playing first. You totally get to just mix it up. You can make these bizarre formulas that you get an advantage and you take a disadvantage, and it says in here that you begin to look more like the things you hunt. So I would put in as another negative that the negative impact on your body is visual
as a physical
as well.
representation.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably when you're on the juice,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you're like, I would say like the bulk of this thing is literally just all of these, these potions, which. But my major problem with this is it says, mutagens are designed for your biology and are fatal to anyone who consumes one other than you. So
Not poisoned effect. Deadly.
like you get to start making these things at 3rd level.
So the most epic character ever is the Witch Hunter, Order of the Mutagen, that just goes around feeding his mutagens.
He's a grappler.
Yeah, he just force feeds dragons, Tarrasques. You're just slaying everything by making them drink.
I do wish Matthew would have spelled out what happens if somebody else drinks
mechanics
it, other than saying it's fatal.
Yeah.
Because that implies drink and die. Like,
Yeah,
saving throw, don't
there-
press go, don't collect $200.
There should be a
could've said,
save and absurd damage.
Well, I would think just instead, just the poison effect and exhaustion level, I think could really take care of the situation.
That's not even close to being fatal.
Yeah, no,
I know, but fatal is
that's
obviously
like fatal's in another country.
Yeah.
and it doesn't make any sense because you could just make someone drink it.
And die.
Well, that's why I need.
Yeah.
That's why I need mechanics for a saving throw.
I'm saying no.
What are you saying?
What are you saying?
I'm saying at 3rd level, it's obviously ridiculous to be able to make a death poison, because that's what it is if you're not the person that's supposed to be drinking it. So it's got to be something else. Otherwise,
It's too powerful.
it's dumb.
So you're Matthew. Nate says you are wrong.
No. It makes sense that it's fatal. And like if we were in a movie or something, or
a video game,
or a video game, and you're like all the other things are NPCs, and you're not able to actually there's no mechanism for force feeding another guy your mutagen potion. Perfectly makes sense. Sure, this other person drinks it on accident. Oh, it's a story plot or what element or whatever. That sounds great. But in a game where we can just talk about how we're going to make someone drink this potion and kill them.
Sure, I go to bars all the time. They're like, here, this one's on me, buddy. Watch, this is gonna be hilarious.
Yeah. Well, like
This is obviously an evil warlock.
so, what you
Drink
could
this stuff.
What you could do is, make it do its thing. On average, it's dealing like 80 points of damage or something absurd. So most average people are just dead drinking it. But your Tarrasque, your dragon, is still going to be up and ready to tear your head off.
Or if it's immune to poison.
Yeah, exactly. There is that too.
Dwarves just drink this stuff because.
They put it a little in their tea for flavor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh. So, same things for Stout Halfling too.
Yes, yeah. They those guys, they just use it as like a lip balm.
Yeah.
So you got some interesting things. You get some potions that allow you to finagle some stats around. You got the ability to gain resistance to different damage types. As I mentioned earlier, I had a way of being able to help negate some of that blood right issues, and that's the one that I would be aiming for as soon as you hit the 7th level. Reconstruction, you regenerate hit points equal to your level divided by 2. Rounded up.
Nope.
It doesn't prevent the necrotic damage that you're taking.
Yeah.
But as you're taking other damage.
Yeah. Well,
it's helping with that.
It's a little bit of an offset,
Hey,
but not quite.
third edition fast healing, type situation. I'm down with that. For a potentially combat, or melee combatant that's getting a D8 and lessening their hit points because they're, blood writing. This is your help for that. As long as you're still standing, as long as you're still at 0, you're golden.
Wow, actually, I did not realize. So Reconstruction is fantastic because the one thing I thought is like once it got you back up to full that it stopped. No, it keeps working. Reconstruction is kind of fucking awesome.
It keeps working.
It keeps going. Like as long as you're alive.
Oh yeah, you just have fast healing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You're just a little slower. Is the only thing.
Yeah, your speed gets reduced by 10. You're not as mobile as you used to be.
We'll just drink celerity. Right? Doesn't that increase?
Well,
That's your dex.
again, like a wood elf makes an excellent witch hunter.
Yeah.
Because a bonus is the dexterity and wisdom. You go with a dexterity build as opposed to the strength build in it for this class.
It's pretty awesome.
Huh?
You're not thinking that you're not loving the strength build?
Not really. I mean, because of medium armor, because you need con, because you need wisdom. If you go dexterity build, you mitigate needing strength as much, and so like a class, you go with Wood Elf that gives you dexterity and wisdom
and weapons. Well, I mean, you don't need. You already get.
Yeah, you get the weapon string, but you just have to either fight with light weapons or go ranged. It is definitely a viable option for this class.
But you were thinking about rapidity. That's the one that increases your speed, but you get a level of exhaustion.
Yeah. A couple is there a couple of these you gives those levels of exhaustion. Which
yes, if you take
gets brutal.
Rapidity and wariness, so you can get increased movement and a bonus to initiative. But that's 2 levels of exhaustion,
which halves your movement.
And several of these,
right? I believe at your second level exhaustion.
I forget what the second level exhaustion is.
First one is minus disadvantage on all your ability checks. That's one of the things I checked.
And several of these are based on Constitution bet on your modifier.
Yes.
So they're multipliers of your modifier. So again, you need so Wisdom, Constitution,
or straight up your modifier as a bump.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, and it says in the quick build too, in the Order of the Mutant, you definitely want a high con.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, I think a strength build for any of these is brutal.
It's one more stat you need, pretty much. So yeah, you wouldn't want to. I would go Dex, Con, and Wisdom. The monk build.
Yeah. Now that that's if you're min-maxing it. There is definitely a part of me that wants to use a greatsword with one of these guys.
Yeah, great sorting witch bolts through people would be pretty hot.
Yeah.
I mean, or you could go a little more average spread on stats and like get yourself to the point where you have maybe say a 14 in strength, a 14 in dex.
Yeah,
I don't know.
14s would be a nice, well-rounded character.
Yeah, and maybe you get a little better on con or wisdom, depending on what build you're going to do.
Well, that wisdom is so important because a lot of your abilities, like extra uses per day.
Yeah.
Like every point.
It depends upon what which archetype you go with.
Yeah, that's super important.
If you go with the profane soul, wisdom should be your target. But if you're looking for the Order of the Mutant, like con should be your highest.
But wisdom affects them all because, like
the baseline class abilities are all wisdom.
Yeah. Like again, like one of the baseline abilities is Binding Rune, which is freaking awesome.
Yes.
You get you can use your wisdom modifier per times a day for a long rest, and as a bonus action, you can bind someone in place. And the range.
I think the save, so the save's going to be wisdom based too. So it actually working is contingent on having a decent wisdom.
And the range is decent. So
it's 25-foot.
Yeah, it's not bad
as a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah, but the
so you get a sixth level, 25 feet away. The enemy gets to choose whether they're going to make a strength or dex save to get out of it. You can only have one rune binding active at a time, but it doesn't give a duration.
No, as long as they keep failing their save.
So as long as they keep failing their save, they're stuck. But they get a save at the end of every one of their turns, and anytime they take damage.
Yes.
So you can just hold them there, and as long as your party's not trying to wail on them,
it's a good thing to like sort of control the battlefield. You stick this guy to the spot, deal with everything else, and then gang up on him.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and when you look at that ability, bonus X use at 25 feet. Oath of the Ancients, Channel Divinity, I believe has a similar power.
But it's an action to do it, isn't it?
Well, I believe it's an action, but even if it's not, the range is like 10 foot. Like you got to be right next to them to actually use it on them. So I like it as flavor. I want to say all in all, this is a pretty well done class.
It's fun and it gives you some interesting choices because like we were saying about the distribution of stats, like depending on what you're doing, there's very distinct ways you want to go and budget your stat allocation.
Like I said, there's only 2 areas that I would look at a little deeper as a GM, and it's the Profane Soul compared to the Warlock to see like how much you're really stepping on their toes. And if you're not really that worried about balance, and I don't really usually worry that much, I'd probably just say go with it. And then the other thing is the mutagens are really wonky where they give their disadvantages. Like it almost doesn't make sense.
Some of them you're just like, why?
They're head scratchers.
Where's the thematic?
Necrotic and psychic.
Yeah.
As your
I would love to see Matthew's design notes, like when he did the class or whatever. I'd be very curious.
I feel like by those ones, those were just the shoulder shrug. It was like the annotations.
He's got a picture of a stick figure guy going like this.
Yeah, it's just like, well, I had to do something, and this is what I did.
That could very well be the case. But with all that being said, Matthew, if you happen to watch this video, I want to say excellent job. I enjoyed it. It's a fun class. I'm sure there's plenty of people howling about how OP it is. But I think
it's the Eric Croker all over again.
Yeah, it's the Eric Croker all over again.
I don't think it's overpowered. I think while there might be a couple wonky choices or a couple things where we would like some clarifications. I love it. I love the RP behind it. I love that it's.
We all have to go watch the movie now.
Yeah.
And then we can scream out what ability he's using.
Exactly.
Or yell, that's totally bullshit. He can't do that. We know the class.
That's OP. Fucking cheating.
Overall, I really like you can tell a lot of effort went into it with the choices and the power set. So.
Yeah. So.
And it's a wide scope. It's a wide range for the three archetypes that you get a choice of. So
yeah, I would be hard
hard
pressed to pick the one I would want to play. I mean, they're all pretty thematic and cool.
Yeah,
yes.
they all seem
and I get a really good idea from not playing the game or watching the movie. I get a really good idea of what the Witcher is, like the witch hunter is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what it feels like. Yeah. It's like a paladin were to actually get his powers from dark pacts. Like if the paladin and the warlock did have a love child, it would be
a witch hunter.
It would be the witch hunter. Yeah.
Yes. So we this is just kind of an overview. This video is getting long as it is.
But check out the download.
Check out the download. Check out the video watching Vin Diesel playing D&D, which is awesome. All right, hey guys, let us know what you think about the Witch Hunter. Is it OP or is it cool? Which one do you want to play? Put in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, subscribe. You know the deal.
You can check out articles over at nerdarchy.com.
You can check us out over on Instagram.
You can hang out at Facebook. Funny memes.
So until next time, stay nerdy.
Yep. So with that, until next time,
stay nerdy.
But it's very thematic. They're based off of hunting fae, undead, and fiends.
Fiends, yep.
The first level, their first level ability is actually really weak. It gets better. It's definitely what Watts has termed a ribbon ability, where it gives you advantage to track and recall lore on again fiends, undead, and fae, which is. It's not useless, but it's definitely not very crunchy or combat oriented.
Yeah, most classes at first level have something that is combat related. Any of the martial classes typically get a fighting style. This literally, you get just this ribbon ability, and that's it.
The joke that Dave made earlier was off camera was the idea that like at first level you're really good at finding these things, but written by Matthew Mercer. Who's also the GM on Critical Role.
And they actually had Vin Diesel in on a session to play as the last witch hunter,
and as the character that he played in the movie, so it was super meta.
Yeah,
right.
Well, maybe not. I don't think it's super meta. He's just really playing. He's just revising a role that he's already played.
Yeah.
In film,
he's doing epic level role playing. Because like he's actually getting paid
so
millions of dollars.
It's like they condensed down the session to like edit it down to like 30 minutes. It's good. It's entertaining. I'll put a link to it somewheres. But in the meantime, we're just going to review the Witch Hunter class on the merit of the class itself. I mean, I have not yet seen the movie. As of the point of us filming this, it has just dropped 2 days ago. Right. And
we were at a convention all day yesterday.
We were at a convention all day yesterday. I don't know if that's relevant, but we were. I also haven't played the video game, and I don't think any of you guys have either.
No.
So all we can do is review it on the basis of the class itself and its playability and its game balance and how we like it.
Right. So it is a free download, and it is something that is a full class. It's not an add-on or new archetype for another thing, and it's a good solid number of pages here. So it's definitely a worthwhile read, and for the most part, I think it really balances well with the other classes.
Full 20 levels.
Yeah, full 20 levels. None of this.
Actually,
you know.
this download is actually better
than the Unearthed Arcanas.
Some of the Unearthed Arcanas we've gotten. It's more complete at any rate.
Yeah, it's fully playable 1 to 20. So
You know, and as we kind of.
Hey guys, Dave here from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hang out with the full contingent today.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Ted.
I'm Nate.
And today we're going to be reviewing the Witch Hunter, based off of the Witcher game and the last Witch Hunter movie.
Yes.
With Vin Diesel.
/ video games and such and such. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Before we get into the Witch Hunter and our review on this, I just want to remind you guys down in the description below, you can check out Nerdarchy newsletter. And we're gonna give you all kinds of cool stuff in there, information how to game with Nerdarchy. Go down there, click it, put your information in, jump on the Nerdarchy, the newsletter bandwagon. Witcher game.
It's put out by Critical Role, as done on Geek and Sundry, and
written by.
Talked about with some of our off-camera discussion. It's backloaded, so the really good stuff is. Later on, so you don't have the people who are trying to like nitpick it for a couple levels.
Yeah, you're not going to cherry pick this class to really get the benefits of it. You have to take minimum 2 levels. It gets better from 3 to 7.
And really, the first 2 levels are pretty meh. Like, you have to be invested in wanting to do this, because like, a lot of the abilities kind of stack on having more class levels in it. So it really encourages, probably a mono class thing happening. You're not going to just dip into this for 4 levels, because they're not going to be a great 4 levels for you.
So Matthew did a really excellent job in that regards. Way better than the Ranger variant that Watts released, where you're like, oh look, take 1 level, you're awesome.
Yeah,
and it's all
like
you need.
Best thing ever.
Yeah.